Hey guys, it's Solbyte, and today we're going to be going over structs. Now, structs are very similar to classes, but in case you haven't watched any of my previous videos about object-oriented programming, I'll try to keep it simple and not try to build too much off of what I've already discussed in my previous videos. If you are interested, I have gone from intro to classes all the way up to polymorphism, so feel free to go and watch that. And this will be a part of the object-oriented programming series because it technically is still object-oriented programming, or at least has the same functionality. So yeah, so what exactly is a struct? So a struct, by its definition, is basically a user-defined data type that will group together members of different data types to create just one singular custom data type. So we can create a struct in the same way that we can create a class, and we can group together a bunch of different data within that the new struct. And the same way of a class, a struct is basically just a blueprint for creating these data types. So we'll do that down here in the main function later, but first we need to actually make a struct. So what we're going to do is we're going to make an item struct today. We're going to include these different data types: an item name, which will be a string, a value, which will be a double, and a boolean, which will classify if the item is rare. So let's go ahead and make this. So we use the struct keyword to identify that that this is a struct. And we'll go ahead and just type in item. And just like with classes, make sure to add a semicolon at the end of it. Very unique to classes and structs. You need to add a semicolon at the end of it. So there we go. And so now let's go ahead and fill in some different data types that we want to be grouped together, all within this singular custom data type. So a struct an item, we want to have a string item name, right? And then we'll do the value. So let's just do a double value. And then we will do a boolean regarding if the item is rare or isn't rare. All right, perfect. So now let's go down here and actually create this data type using the struct blueprint. So we can come down here and we can classify that we are creating an item data type by just saying item. All right. And then we can then put the name of the item. So let's just do a sword. All right. And just like that, we have a sword, which is a data type, which is an item data type. So perfect. Now the way that we can access these these members of the item data type is using the same methodology that we would use for classes. So we can do sword and then dot, and as you can see, we can now access these data types. And if you have a little bit of knowledge about classes, you would know that there's things like access modifiers. Well, for structs, everything is public automatically. So there's no need to worry about access modifiers here. Everything will be publicly accessible outside of the struct itself. So, all right, so let's go ahead and actually create just the sword. Let's just kind of fill in the values for the sword, I mean. So for this sword, let's call it Hero's Sword, okay? And then we'll do the same thing for the value. We'll put, let's see, it will cost 14.5, whatever that means. And then we can do is rare. And we're going to set that equal to the hero sword. That sounds pretty rare, so we'll just do true. Perfect. Now down here, I'm going to do some cout, and we're going to see the name, the item name. So we'll just do sword with item name and then inline, and we'll just do this for basically the other ones as well. So we'll go over here and change this to value, and then we'll do the same thing for is rare. So these will print whatever values are in these members for the data type sword. So let's go ahead and run this in our terminal now. I'm going to go ahead and compile. I misspelled struct. Okay. Not my best luck. Not my best luck. There we go. So now let's execute it. And here we go. So we see hero sword, which is the item name. We see the value of the sword. And 1, which translates to true as a Boolean. So perfect. All right. And let's go ahead and just for another example, let's create a bow. All right. So now we'll kind of do the same functionality. So I'll just kind of copy this. That way I have a good understanding of what we'll do for these. So we'll rename all of this here to bow. And then we will go ahead and let's see. We want it to be called just a basic bow. We'll make it not nearly as valuable, 1.3, and then we'll set this to false. So it's not a rare item. All right, and now let's go ahead and make sure that we can print out the information for the bow. All right, so we'll just do bow for all 3 of these guys here. If I can spell it, there we go. All right, let's go ahead and rerun our program. And as we can see, we got hero sword 14.5 and true right here for the sword item. And down here we have the basic bow 1.3 and 0 for the bow item. Nice. So these two are the same data type. However, we can specify their values and how, basically their uniqueness using the members that are within the data type. One more thing I will bring up is we can actually set some of these to a defaulted value. So we'll just do is rare false. So now we wouldn't actually need to specify this. So now whenever we rerun the program, we see that both of them are now false. So we can have certain members be a default value, and we can actually, of course, change these as well. They don't have to remain that same value. But if you want most items to always be a certain way, then we can specify that up here. But if maybe you have some items, like very few, that will be rare, then we can specify that again down here and change the defaulted value to true. All right, and that's about it. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. I'm also going to include some resources in the description if you guys have any other, or if you guys want to see some other resources, or just make sure you really understand structs. And yeah, that's about it. So thanks for watching.